covering the entire Piedmont Triad and everywhere you are. This is WXII 12 News at 4:30.
Today, Burlington police are set to release the name of the suspect involved in last week's deadly shooting on Caswell Road, when that's going to happen, and what other information they plan to release. Plus, severe flooding. More is expected to hit West Virginia, what local volunteers are doing to help people who need it. And the Olympic swimming trials continue for the rest of the week. We'll tell you how one triad swimmer performed yesterday. Good Tuesday morning, and thank you for starting your day off with us. I'm Brianna Connor.
I'm meteorologist Brian Slocum. A kind of a sultry start to the day and a little bit of rain out there this morning.
It's kind of thick out there. That's the first thing you'll notice walking out of the door.
Yeah, some improvements are coming though, but probably not until tomorrow. So cloudy skies are with us. A few light raindrops have been moving through the area. Some good rain chances early on. The axis of the rain currently is centered over the Piedmont Triad and then moving eastward. We'll continue to see that trend as we go through the early part of the morning hours. Now leaving Kernersville's airspace, moving into areas like Oak Ridge, south of Summerfield, and the north side of the Greensboro metropolitan area. Good pocket of rain along Highway 73, 74. It continues farther eastward over Troxler's Mill and Pleasant Garden. We're seeing some pretty good raindrops on the eastern side of 421. Farther south as well over much of Randolph County, Newmarket down to Asheboro, all the way down to Seagrove. A good pocket of rain continues to fall. Also some light showers near High Rock Lake and Denton. Looking farther west, there's a clearing line slowly moving through Tennessee and Kentucky and West Virginia. This will eventually start to clear our airspace during the afternoon. In the meantime, we are on the humid side of that cold front, and unsettled showers and even a few thunderstorms are a good possibility for the first half of today. The morning numbers are pretty muggy 70s to start with a lot of moisture in the air. It feels very tropical as you're stepping out the door today, but some relief is in sight. Likely won't start to feel it though until later on tonight and early tomorrow morning. Best rain chances I think in the early part of the day as we start out in the 70s. We'll gradually scale back the rain chances, but as temperatures heat up, it will increase the threat that we could see a few thunderstorms across the area today. Some better weather is in the works for Wednesday. We'll have more on that forecast coming up.
Later on this morning, Burlington police say they're going to release more information about an arrest in connection with the shooting on Caswell Street. Police are expected to make that announcement at 10. The shooting happened last Monday. When police got to Caswell Street, they found 21-year-old Jalen Ferguson shot near an apartment complex. The shooting happened just hours after another one on Tillman Street. Police found 21-year-old Kareem Johnson there. Police say Johnson was shot during a fight between a group of people. He later died from his injuries. No one has been arrested in connection with his death yet. People living in High Point are working to find a solution to a growing heroin epidemic. They held a forum last night to brainstorm ways to prevent the growing number of drug overdoses and deaths in the community. Police have reported a 106% increase in heroin-related overdoses compared to the same time last year. Naloxone was available for people to take home. That drug is used to counteract overdoses. Heroin overdose data out of High Point is creating shock for a lot of people. High Point police say there have been 68 heroin ODs this year alone. That's only 9 fewer cases compared to last year. 4 people died at this time last year from overdoses. That number is down by 2 people this year. Police believe that cracking down on how available prescription painkillers are has caused heroin use to rise. Severe and historic flooding continues to plague West Virginia residents, and they are bracing themselves for more rain. This morning, people are taking refuge outside of the comfort of their own homes. First responders are still on standby with rescue crews. One of them says they never know exactly how serious the flash flooding may be until they arrive.
Of course, if you have someone trapped, you have to do a risk-benefit analysis to see if the benefit's going to be worth the risk to try to rescue the folks.
Shelters continue to be stocked with water and other supplies for people who need to stay. At least 23 people have been killed so far from the flooding. West Virginia Governor Earl Ray Tomblin says thousands of homes and businesses in his state have damaged or are destroyed by the flooding. People living there are banding together now to jumpstart the recovery process. Marshall University's football team is collecting flood relief supplies and handing it all out. One player says it hurts to see people in his home state having to go through so much suffering.
And just to see all those victims up there, just like losing their homes, just losing family members, it's hard. That's just, but you can see as our state, everybody's just coming together.
Marshall's football team is continuing to collect relief items today. The flooding crisis grabbed the hearts of many people, even in our area. Volunteers with North Carolina-based relief organization Samaritan's Purse are in West Virginia this morning. They're helping local volunteers. The group brought a tractor loaded with supplies. Samaritan's Purse says they could use more hands on deck. If you are interested in volunteering, you can go to the group's website at samaritanspurse.org. North Carolina Governor Pat McCrory signed a bill into law cracking down on drunk boating. The law is named for Cheyenne Marshall, who was killed last year by a drunk boater. It strengthens penalties for causing a death or serious injuries because of drunk boating, now making it a felony. Last year alone, 25 people died in boating-related accidents, with nearly half of them involving alcohol. This morning, crews are cleaning up the U.S. National Whitewater Center in Charlotte. Workers are draining the upper pools and sanitizing the system. In addition to cleaning, Mecklenburg County's health department is recommending the center hire a consultant with experience in working with high-volume water systems. The county's health director wants the community to know that the illness caused the center to shut down is very rare.
So we see this microorganism frequently in bodies of water like lakes and rivers and streams, and we very rarely see illness as a result of human contact with the microorganism.
And of course, this cleanup comes after a teenager from Ohio contracted a brain-eating amoeba following a visit to the Whitewater Center. While that cleaning process is happening, Governor McCrory is calling for a review of oversight at the center. McCrory told the Charlotte Observer there should be a re-examination of how facilities like the Whitewater Center are handled. Mecklenburg County's health director said the department is looking into how that can be done, but says it is definitely a difficult task. Happening today, High Point Regional and the High Point Library are offering free health screenings. Their goal is to raise awareness about health issues. The screenings start at 10 this morning and end at noon. Free cholesterol, blood pressure, and heart risk assessments are just a few of the screenings that will be offered. And you can join WXII 12 News tomorrow for a very special food drive. We're kicking off another month of collecting donations for the Second Harvest Food Bank. Tomorrow, we'll be live at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds. To celebrate our 15th year of partnering with Second Harvest Food Bank, Chuck Harmon will be walking 15 miles a day in July. We do hope you'll come out, bring a donation, and take a symbolic walk around the fairgrounds with us. Elizabeth Warren joined Hillary Clinton on the campaign stage, and Donald Trump made a large fundraising goal for the week. We have the latest on your Commitment 2016 news. And a big ruling on abortion yesterday. We'll break down what that means. You're watching WXII 12 News. It's 4:37 this Tuesday morning.
All right, 4:40 on this early Tuesday morning. An unsettled weather pattern. You're waking up to cloudy skies, muggy weather, and some scattered showers in the area, especially across our southern areas and our southern eastern counties. You can see over parts of Randolph County some good rains of Seagrove up Highway 73, 74 up into Guilford County, moving towards Sedalia and moving toward Burlington. Again, occasional showers are possible early on. We'll have much more in a changing forecast for the midweek time frame coming up in a bit.
A young child bitten by a shark on Atlantic Beach over the weekend is now talking about what he went through. 11-year-old Lamar is getting around on crutches now. His parents asked that his last name not be used on TV. Lamar says he was surfing with his stepdad about 60 yards from the shoreline when he felt a pinch. He got out of the water and saw blood gushing from his foot.
I was crying. I was scared. I didn't know what happened.
Lamar has 12 stitches in his foot. He's the second reported victim of a shark bite at Atlantic Beach so far this month. Lamar says he is not ready to get back in the water and start surfing again just yet. The Rio swimming trials are continuing all week long. We're going to update you on how 2 local swimmers did and let you know how Ryan Lochte is handling his recent injury. Plus, it was an incredible sight on a Texas freeway what one smart driver did to make sure a horse was safe. It's 4:42. You're watching WXII 12 News.
The Triad's #1 news, WXII 12 News, with Kimberly Van Scoy, Kenny Beck, meteorologist Brian Slocum, and breaking news and traffic with Brianna Connor.
4:45 this morning. We're keeping an eye on some scattered showers and a few thunderstorms. This is not expected to be a severe weather day, but certainly an uncomfortable start. The air is feeling pretty tropical. We have some generally just unsettled weather coming through the area. A little wave over our southern and eastern parts of the Piedmont Triad. This will continue for at least midday and then start to taper off this afternoon. Get you better caught up to speed on the changes for your Wednesday forecast and look ahead to the next couple of days coming up in a bit.
Commitment 2016 News now. For the first time, Hillary Clinton shared her campaign stage with Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren. Warren is considered a top contender who could possibly be Clinton's running mate. Both women pledged to keep the interests of American workers at the top of their lists and policy fights moving forward. Clinton and Warren both called out Donald Trump during yesterday's event.
A small, insecure money grubber who fights for no one but himself.
She exposes him for what he is, temperamentally unfit and totally unqualified to be President of the United States.
After sharing the stage with Warren, Clinton made her way to Chicago to serve as a guest speaker for the Rainbow Coalition's 50th anniversary. Presumptive Republican nominee for President Donald Trump is trying to reach a huge goal by the end of this week. He hopes to raise $10 million by Thursday. Trump's son, Eric, recently sent an email asking supporters to contribute. That same email also talked about Trump's fundraising push last week, claiming they raised $11 million. This morning, abortion rights supporters are still celebrating yesterday's court ruling. The U.S. Supreme Court agreed 5-3 that it is unconstitutional to restrict a woman's right to an abortion. In 2013, Texas Governor Rick Perry signed a law placing strict regulations on abortion clinics, forcing many of them in that state to close. People opposing the law argued the restrictions made it harder for women to have abortions. The Republican-led House committee investigating the handling of the 2012 attacks in Benghazi plan to issue their final report today. Trey Gowdy of South Carolina will lead the news conference. Issues expected to be addressed include if President Obama's administration misled the public about the events and if Hillary Clinton should be held accountable. GOP convention leaders are giving a first look at this year's set design. Construction on the stage first started June 18th, exactly 1 month ahead of the convention. The convention will be held at the Quicken Loans Arena in Cleveland, Ohio. And we're a little over a month away from the Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro. In Nebraska, swimmers are continuing to fight their way to qualifying for the Games. Day 3 of the U.S. Olympic team swim trials is today in Omaha. Yesterday, the triad's own Kathleen Baker competed in the 100-meter backstroke, and she took second place. She was an entire second faster than gold medalist Missy Franklin. Greensboro native Eugene Godso finished 11th in last night's 100-meter backstroke, and Ryan Lochte is still pressing forward after a groin injury. He says he can feel the pain every time he starts to race, but he tries to forget about it in the water.
I was crying. I was scared.
Well, you can see who will make it to Rio only on WXII 12. NBC is airing the finals of the swim trials each night this week, starting at 8 o'clock. And for instant Rio updates, be sure to check out our website, WXII12.com. You can also be updated through our free mobile app. Well, we have video of a crazy sight on a highway in downtown Houston. A horse galloping down the road. One quick-thinking driver gestured for others to join him in an effort to trap the horse in. The group formed a wave and then herded the horse onto the feeder road. No word on what happened to the horse. All right, we're going to send things over to Brian now in the Weather Center for another look at your forecast.
Yeah, let's start with Weather 3 if we could, please. You got some radar going on, and we have some showers and a few thunderstorms along the Randolph County corridor, mainly along Highway 73 and 74. We'll continue to see at least a few raindrops over the area as we go through the early part of the day. A muggy start and a cloudy start for sure. Again, this is not expected to cause any incidents or toppled trees or anything, but a few thunder boomers will be a possibility for the early part of the day. Let's widen the view. Go back to Weather 1 if we could. We have a weak disturbance overhead helping to create these showers. The cold front is still lagging behind. It's still over West Virginia, Kentucky, and Tennessee. That's where the heavy clouds are. The humid, very sultry, unstable air continues to fire up these early morning showers, and the sun isn't even up yet. There is dry air coming our way. It's still about a good day away before we start to feel the influence of this, but as is often the case in late June and early July, when you get some lower humid days or lower humidity starting to move in, it doesn't last too long. Eventually, the oceans that are close by and the bodies of water will bring that moisture back. Temperatures will start out in the 70s early on. What rain we have will be patchy at best, including a chance for a few thunder boomers. Models a little all over the place as far as the trend for later today. As long as we have these clouds in place, because it is unstable enough, I'm going to keep the chance for showers around. We're going to start to see some clearing this afternoon, starting in our northern and western areas and then dropping through the Piedmont Triad. I don't think we'll get as warm as the models are showing here. The best we'll probably do is around 85 or 86 degrees today. Later on tonight, skies clear. The humidity begins to fall some, and that lower humidity will start to make things feel a lot better. But it is warm and steamy 70s as you get your day started, with only a few exceptions. Galax, you're at 66 this morning. Martinsville at 69 degrees. Look at the water in the air. The higher the number, the more humid it feels. And once you start to see these numbers get above the mid-60s, it starts to feel a little ugh outside. Once they get into the 70s, it feels like you're in New Orleans in the middle of summer. It certainly is a pretty ugly start to the day from a humidity perspective. Now, we'll start out with temperatures in the 70s, warming into the mid-80s later on this afternoon. Rain chances, I think, are best early on, and we'll start to bring those chances down through the afternoon. I think the last chance we'll see is shower in the Triad is around 5 or 6 o'clock this evening. But even then, they will be few and far between if we have anything left over at all. Mid-80s from Dobson and Elkin. We'll start to see some sun peeking out during the afternoon today. High of 85 degrees and light and variable winds expected. Ennis, Sparta, McGrady, your high temperature will be near 80. Best chance for a shower or two will be as the cold front steps through sometime this morning, and then we'll start to bring down those rain chances as we go through time. Mid-80s expected for the next several days. Tomorrow, the nice day in the 7-day forecast. Humidity will be relatively low. It'll be warm in the sun, but more comfortable in the shade. And then the humidity is back later on this week with scattered storms most afternoons through Sunday. I am confident at this point, as confident as you can be on day 7, that if we have a rain chance at all, it'll be early on the 4th of July. That opens up the nicer weather, I think, for fireworks time.
Sounds good. All right, it is a syndrome that not enough parents know enough information about. How you can prevent your baby from getting shaken baby syndrome. Plus at 5, the Whitewater Center closing sparked a scare for some people. What Wet n Wild officials in Greensboro are saying they're going to do to make sure their pools are safe. It's 4:52. We'll be right back.
4:56 this morning. A little rain over the area in the early part of the day today. Our best rain chances are now through about noontime, and gradually they'll start to scale back later on today. It is cloudy, and boy, is it muggy this morning. We're starting out in the 70s. We'll see highs creeping back in the mid-80s. Should see a little sun as we hit the afternoon. A much better Wednesday forecast is on the way. I'll have more on that coming up.
In this morning's health headlines, be prepared to spend even bigger bucks at the hospital. A study by the University of Michigan says treatment at a hospital may cost you at least $1,000 even if you have insurance. Over the last 4 years, out-of-pocket costs for privately insured patients rose 33%. Insurance deductibles have also increased. They went up 86% during the same time period. A new international study measured blood levels of omega-3 fatty acids in over 45,000 adults. The study found both plant and seafood-based omega-3s were linked to a 10% lower risk of deadly heart attacks. Foods like salmon, trout, and sardines are rich in omega-3 fatty acids. Walnuts, flaxseed oil, and canola oil are also included on that list. Well, if you want your kids to perform better in school, make sure they're enrolled in some classes that include exercising. A panel of international experts says kids who exercise during the school day get better grades. The experts also found that a single session of moderate exercise had immediate effects on brain function. They say students who have exercise sessions before, during, and after school are most likely to have high academic performance. Caring for a baby can be a very rewarding experience, but can also be challenging and frustrating. Shaken baby syndrome is the most common cause of brain injury in a child's first 2 years of life. Danielle Barber explains why.
Shaken baby syndrome is a severe form of child abuse that results from parents or caregivers violently shaking a baby or a small child.
This whiplash motion causes a child's brain to repeatedly hit the front and back of the skull, leading to potentially fatal consequences.
Can cause death or blindness, cerebral palsy. There's many different lifelong debilitating things that can happen if they don't die from it.
Child Injury Prevention Coordinator Elizabeth Ostrich says inconsolable crying of an infant is the #1 trigger for shaken babies.
Most of the time, there's no actual criminal history or drugs or alcohol history of the perpetrators. It's just regular parents losing their control.
If you've shaken a child, there are ways to tell if serious damage was caused.
Some things to look for: lethargy, vomiting, the inability to cry, because once they get shaken, sometimes they lose that control and they don't even know how to cry anymore.
While babies cry for often unknown reasons, if you still can't comfort the child after a while, Ostrich says calming yourself could help avoid a bad situation.
Just knowing when to set that baby down and take a break and walk away. Put the baby down in a safe place like a crib or playpen, and then taking the 5 or 10 minutes you need to cool down.
Ostrich recommends parents take the appropriate classes and also educate anyone who's going to be caring for your child.
You're watching WXII 12.